for today's class, among other things, we'll be working on activating the glutes in different ways, both the side glutes, gluteus medius and minimus, and then max at the back. And then we'll also do a little bit for the inner thighs. And you'll see many of the poses we do all the time, we'll just hold them a little longer with a little more attention here, and it'll be super fun. So let's get started on your back. If you have blocks in the strap, have the strap handy, the blocks just for later, and any other props that you just normally like to have. And Lucy, let me know if the light is bothering you. I can turn it down. It's okay. So before we get moving, let's just take a little bit of time to settle. You can have the legs bent or straight, whatever is comfortable. And I usually find it useful to take a little check-in, just kind of gauge your baseline before we begin. And that's just a couple of things. Notice your physical body. And if there's anything calling your attention, notice your mental state, the activity going on in your brain. Notice the quality of your breath and any movement that you sense happening when you breathe. And let's just softly, gently start to roll your head from side to side. A gentle, easy little movement here. And then we'll pause and bring the head back to center. And if the legs were long on the floor, let's bend the knees and just bring them into the chest for a second. You can take a little stir, little circles if you wish, or you could do a little side to side if you wish, just any kind of movement really. And then for today's class, I'll try to start on the left. I almost always do right side first, so this will probably mess me up, but let's try. So let's take the strap over the left foot and send the left leg up. For the moment, we'll keep the right knee bent and just take a yogi's choice, hamstring stretch, movement, or stillness. You could move at the joints, the ankle, the knee, the hip, or not. And then we'll do a little bit of activation for the inner and the outer thighs alternating here. So let's keep the strap in the left hand, pick up the right knee and hold on to it with the right hand. And then we'll take the legs out away from the midline. Yeah. And then from here, create a little resistance. So you'll pull the strap to the left and use the right hand to create resistance as we come back to center so that you feel the inner thighs engage as we come back up. And then when we come down, let's do the opposite. So pull the strap over towards the right and have the right hand on the outer thigh and slowly go out to the side there. And let's do a few more times. Yeah. Oh, maybe that's Stacy. I heard the door. Hey, come on in. Sorry. Oh, you're fine. Take your time. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's all right. We're started, but just take your time to set up. And then for you folks who've been here, let's pause in the open position. And now act as if you were going to take the legs back to center, but don't really do it. So you create isometric muscle tension here. And then you'll back off and let the legs go apart. And then again, we'll try to pull them up, but create resistance. And then back off. And take that one more time. So create the resistance. And we'll back it off. Awesome. Just hold here for a second. And then we'll continue with the left leg, but we'll do something different. Let's come back to center. And now put the right leg all the way down on the floor. Just let it relax. And put the strap in the right hand. And we'll take the leg over the midline. Come on in. You can, if you need any props, they're in the back here. Yeah. It's Stacy?
Yes.
Yeah, welcome. All right. And now in this position here, we'll do kind of what we did before. So gently pull the right arm, the strap a little to the right, but press the leg outward to the left without actually moving it. And then back off. And let's do that 2 more times. So you find that little press. And we back off. And 1 more time, little press. And now this time when we back off, it's totally up to you. You can keep the leg in place or you can take the leg further over. Wherever you want to be is fine. And for now, just enjoy the stretch. Have a look at your foot and make sure the foot's not turning. We want the foot well aligned, the toes and the knee pointing the same direction. Yeah. And then create a little tone through the belly as you bring the leg back up to the center. Let's bend the knee and release the leg. And Stacy, we just finished side 1, so you can kind of cheat, like do a little shorter version when you do it so you can get both sides. And just take a little check and notice, just notice how the 2 sides feel after that. Yeah. Okay. So let's check it out on side 2. You can bend up the knees and we'll strap up the right foot and just give yourself a second here. Yogi's choice, any kind of movement, stillness, bend and straighten. Just hold the leg. You decide. You decide. Yeah. All right, friends, and then let's pause here with the right leg up. Pick up the left leg with the knee bent, and then slowly take the legs away from the midline. And then once you find a spot here, you'll create resistance. So use the hands to resist as we pull the legs back to center, so the muscles in the inner thighs engage. Yeah. And then we'll do the opposite. When the legs come out, use the arms to press in to create resistance going the other way. Let's do that a few more times. You'll get a little bonus work in the arms too, huh? That's it. And then let's meet the next time we go into the out wide position. And we'll do the isometric one. So the legs are out wide. And now create the same resistance as if you were trying to pull the legs back to center without actually moving. That's it. And then relax. And then go again. And relax. And 1 more time, find that little pull. And relax, and we'll stay just relaxed for a sec. That's it. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's stretch the left leg long on the floor and just let it relax. Move the strap now into the right hand. I will take the leg over the midline, but not far, just a little bit. And now let's create the resistance out. So the leg presses as if it wants to move to the right, but the arm blocks it and doesn't let it go. And then relax. And do that a few times, and I'm hoping for this one you feel the work right on the outer hip. Outer, yes, exactly, that's the spot. Good. So do 1 more time. And now this time when you relax, feel free to stay right where you are or take the leg further over if you want. They're both valid versions of this. Have a look at your foot though and make sure you're pressing the inner foot as much as the outer foot. Yeah. All right. And then from here, friends, let's return to center. You can bend the knee, release the leg, just put the strap to the side. And then let's bend the knees here. Take the feet kind of wide and take a little just windshield wiper the knees from side to side. You can be kind of lazy about it. Good. And then we'll roll all the way over onto one side. If you're in the room with me, let's go to your right side so we're all facing the same way. If you're at home, just pick a side. And we'll be here. And let's do this so the bottom arm is outstretched and you're resting the head. The knees are bent with the knees in front of the hips. And then from this position, see, let's just for a second take the top hand and put it on the top of the pelvis and press the top half of the pelvis down so that the underside of the waist lifts up a little bit off the floor. Yeah? Keep that position and then put the hand down in front of you and press straight down into the floor so you can maintain this little tone through the belly. Let's lift the top leg, keeping the legs parallel. And then lower a little and lift a little. Do that a few times. Just kind of waking up the outer hip. We're going to do a little more with it in a second. And then let's stay in the up position without letting the pelvis move. Let's do some rotation. So point the knee up to the ceiling, the foot goes down, and then do the opposite. So internal and external rotation. Exactly. We'll be keeping the knee bent. And try not to let the pelvis rock forward and back and keep the underside of the waist lifted. Yeah. So let's pause here. The next time the knee points down and the foot points up, 3 times we'll slowly bend and straighten the leg. That's it. Try to keep the thighs still and just move from the knee down. That's it. And then once you've done your 3, let's pause. Point the knee to the ceiling, the foot towards the other foot, and then let's do 3 in this position. This one's a little harder, I think. Maybe it's just because the leg is tired. All right, and then once we've done that last one, return to your parallel position, and let's do 3 here. So just straight ahead. Yeah. You might get a little tremble there on the side. And then once you're done, release, relax, stay there. If you need to give the hip a little rub or a little shake, you can. All right, let's turn to your back, and before we switch sides, we'll just stretch this out a little bit. Whatever leg was just working, cross that one over, and you pick up the bottom leg and hold on either behind the thigh or in front of the shin. You can take a little rock. You can take any other movement, really. Okay. Now that you know what to do, we'll change sides. So let's undo the legs, roll over onto your second side. I'm just going to spin around here so I can face you. And then we'll outstretch the bottom arm, resting the head on the arm. Knees are bent, knees are in front of the hips. And just for a second, take the top hand on the side of the pelvis and press down away from your head so that the waist lifts on the bottom side. Let's keep that and then reset the top hand so it's on the floor and press down into the floor. Keep some tone through the belly and let's lift the top leg off the bottom leg, keeping the thighs more or less parallel. Do a little lower and a little lift. And these are small. It's really just to kind of wake them up a little bit. And we're not doing the rotation quite yet, so it's just a straight abduction. We're familiar with those terms. Yeah. Good. Let's pause in the up position, and now we'll do our rotation. So the leg rotates in the ball and socket joint, and if you look at the foot, it's going up and down. Try not to let the pelvis move either forward and back or up and down. Aren't these fun? Yeah, you might notice too, one side is usually stronger than the other side gets tired quicker. So let's pause with the knee down and the foot up, internal rotation. 3 times, straighten and bend the leg. Obviously, I'm on my weaker side here. That's it. And then once you've done your 3, point the knee up and the foot down. 3 more like this. And then we go to our parallel position. Kick the leg just straight out. 3 of those. We're almost done, you guys, with these. Awesome. And then when you're done, we're done. Relax. You can give the hip a little rub if you need, a little shake if you need. And then let's roll over and we'll stretch it out. So whatever side was just working, that's the side that comes up. And then if you want to, you could pick up the bottom leg and pull it in. If you want to add some movement, you can. Just take what you need. and leave the rest behind. Throughout the rest of the class, we'll kind of alternate between some work in the glutes and the outer hips, and then more kind of a stretch, or if nothing else, a distraction. All right, let's undo the leg and just hug both knees into the chest and do this. Take a little circle, just a little stir around. Yeah, and go the other way with that one. Good. So when you're ready, friends, we'll turn over hands and knees position. If you need padding for under the knees, feel free to have something under them. Yeah. All right. Now, after what we just did, let's take another kind of release for the hips. Take the hands kind of wide. It's okay if they go off the mat. And then take the knees a bit more narrow than you normally would. And just let the hips go from side to side. You can imagine like you're skiing. It's funny, I used to ski, but I didn't ski like this. All right. And then let's pause, reset, so the knees are right under the hips, the hands are right under the shoulders. And now just start to move through the spine. And this could be anything at all. I usually like circles or side bends. Anything that feels good to you there. Getting into this nooks and crannies. Awesome. All right, friends. And then let's pause here. Just take a brief child's pose. Feel free to widen the knees if you like. And stay here without going anywhere. Push the mat a little down and forward with the hands. Let the hips relax. If they want to take a wag side to side, that's an option here. And then before we come back up to our hands, let's go into the fingertips, spider fingers, just to give the wrists a break. And without moving your hands, try to scrunch up the mat like a little suction cup, and the center of the palm will lift, the center of the wrist will lift. Yeah, nice job. Let's set the hands back down. Reset yourself, coming to all fours position. Let's take the left leg back with the toes tucked under and just give yourself some movement here to stretch out through the calf, ankle. Good. And then pause here. Broaden the collarbones, lift up through the belly, and don't move the foot, the left foot, but try to pull it over towards the right side of the mat and just hold. And then back off. Yeah, finding the inner thigh. Do that a few times. Pull it towards the right. And back it off. And one more time, we find that. And we back it off. Now let's lift the leg up off the floor. The belly will want to droop down. See if you can keep the belly lifted. And now lift the leg a little higher. Let it cross over towards the right and tap it down to the floor. And then it comes up over to the left and tap it down. Do that a few more times and try not to let the spine take a big side bend. We will do that in a second, but for now, try to keep the spine pretty still. It'll move a little bit, but try not to move it too much. Yeah. Next time the leg goes over towards the right, let's stay. Now this time we will side bend. You can turn the head to look right. See if you can lift the left ribs a little bit more. Awesome. And now we'll take a little stretch for the left inner thigh. Let's pick up the leg again. Kick it out to the side so the foot comes down to the floor. And now take your cat-cows with the leg out to the side. Yeah. Good. And Bill, if you can, take the left leg a little further forward. If you can't, don't worry about it. Yeah, there it is. Good. Now the next time the tailbone lifts up, not max capacity, just a little bit. Pause there. Press the left foot into the floor and see if you can lift the right hip a little towards the ceiling. And that might give you, yeah, you're not going to go anywhere with that, but it might give you a little more stretch. Awesome. Okay, let's come back to center, 2 knees down, child's pose. Stay there, flip the hands over so the palms face up, and just give the fingers and the wrists a little movement. You can pretend your hands were sea anemones, just moving in the ocean there. And then we'll take a little bit of a detour before side 2. So let's come forward and down onto the belly. Take a second to land, and once you get there, scooch the legs back and down one at a time. And let's rest the forehead down on the hands. Bend both knees and just in a lazy, easy way, let the feet take a little swish right and left, back and forth. Good. And then take them around in a circle. This is still just really easy, lazy movement. Go the other direction. Yeah. Nice. And then let's pause and set the legs back down. And when we lift them up, before we lift them up, think about drawing the navel and the pubic bone both a little bit forward without squeezing the tailbone for dear life. Yeah, let this happen from the front of the body, this little lift. And then when we lift the legs, they're not going to be able to go too high. Lift up through the inner thighs. And the legs, it's really just a hover. They just come off the floor a little bit. Yeah, lower them back down. And let's go again. So lift up from the inner thighs. You got it. And back down. One more time, let's stay there. Now when we add on, you'll lose some of the lift in the belly. Take the hands slightly forward and the elbows in a bit. And without moving your hands, try to drag them back towards your feet as the spine travels forward and then up. We want length over lift. If you're feeling any sort of pinch, come down, and instead of going up at all, just go forward. Yeah? Great. Everybody come on down, rest the forehead, just take a little wobble. And then we've got a whole second side to do for that other sequence. So let's come on back, hands in knees position. And then we'll do second leg, which for most of us, that'll be right leg back. This feels like you've already done it. Do the other one. And take a little bit of movement forward, back, just to stretch out a little bit. That's it. Let's hold the position. Broaden the collarbones, lift through the lower ribs. And without moving, let's try to pull the right foot over to the left, inner thigh. Feel that? Yep. And then back it off. And do it 2 more times. So pull. And then back it off. And last one, we pull. And back it off. Now don't let the belly droop down. Lift the right leg up. And then we'll take it over to the left. Foot taps to the floor. Up, over to the right, tap down to the floor. So drawing little rainbows. Try not to let the left hip swing off to the side. And try to keep the spine relatively still. It'll move a little, but not too much. Yeah, my right one's definitely the weaker one. Next time we're over on the left side with the foot, let's stay. Let the head turn to the left, so we're in more of a side bend at this point. Good. And can you lift up a little more through the right back ribs? Just a little bit. Yes, friends. And then from here, let's pick up the leg, kick it over to the right side, foot down to the floor. And now take a few times the cat-cow with the leg wide, which will give the inner thigh a little stretch. Awesome. Now the next time the tailbone lifts up just a little, don't overdo it, pause there. Press the sole of the right foot down and think about lifting the left hip towards the ceiling without going anywhere. And that might give you just a little extra bonus. Yeah, you guys. All right, let's return to center. 2 knees down, send the hips back, spider fingers the hands. Give them out a little scrunch, hips a little wobble if you like. And then we'll reset, flip the palms up, and let's do the sea anemone again. Just that little curl in and out. You can bend at the wrists there. Yeah. And then we'll spend a little bit of time off of the hands. Let's go to down dog real quick, just to transition. Go ahead and get there. And of course, if you need to move around some, you can pedal the legs, you can shift the hips, take whatever you need there. Good. And then from here, friends, let's take the feet wide, bend the knees, walk the hands back until the heels come down onto the floor, and then rest the forearms up onto the thighs. So we're in this kind of high squat position. Can you draw the pelvis back? Can you draw the chest forward? And when we draw the chest forward, the weight shifts more towards the toes. Can you put the weight more on the heels and press the heels down into the floor? And when you press them down, I'm hoping you feel the backs of the legs and the glutes turn on a little bit. Let's keep that idea. And on the inhale, we'll come all the way up, press into the heels, up come the arms. Exhale the arms down, stay wide in your position, bend the knees a little bit, and just slither around, slither asana. Yeah, all right. And then we'll do a couple of variations of Utkatasana here. So let's pause and reset the feet so they're about hips-width distance apart, toes point straight ahead. And we'll bend the knees, bring the hips back, but don't go too low. We're gonna go lower in a second. Look down and make sure you can see the toes. So we don't want the knees to go forward. Instead, we want the hips to go back. Yeah. And then from this position here, let's take your choice, either hands to the hips or in prayer, whatever you like. Press the right heel down a little more into the floor and see how that travels up the back of the leg. And then we'll switch, push the left one down. Yeah, do that a few times, just alternating. Slow little press and release. Yeah. And now, see if you can create that on both sides at the same time. Press down through the heels. If you're able to sit back a little deeper, you can. Have a little peek at the knees and don't let the knees come in. Press out through the upper thighs. And in addition to pressing down the heel, root down through the ball of the big toe without shifting your weight forward. Yeah, good. Can you sit back a little deeper? Can you create some tone through the belly? Yeah, how much do you love Utkatasana? It's not the best crowd pleaser, but here we are. Press into the heels to come up. Inhale your eyes. And exhale, arms down, just relax for a second. Let's kind of hula hoop it out, take a few little circles. But could you feel the turn on a little? Yeah, go the other direction. Today is glutes focus. All right. So we'll go again with a different variation. Before we do, let's just, in mountain pose, stand as you are, shift the weight more towards the toes, and then back towards the heels. Do that a few times, just a little rock. And notice how when the weight shifts on your feet, the pelvis moves too. And now see if you can find not the furthest back on the heel, but right at the front of the heel. Stay there, take a tiny, barely bend in the knees. And then as if the front of the heel could grow roots, tap roots deep into the earth. Grow the roots down as you lengthen the legs. Lift up through the low belly. Let's take the arms out and up. Urdhva Hastasana in Tadasana. Stay here, relax a little through the inner shoulders without letting the arms come any lower than they are. Good. All right, let's take the hands back to prayer. Bend the knees, and this time let the heels lift up a little, just for the moment, yeah? Stay here. No, they don't have to lift high, just a little. Press out through the upper thighs. You'll feel the knees widen. Hug them through the ankles, enough so the weight goes more towards the ball of the big toe, less towards the pinky. Stay there, and then slowly come back so that the heel comes down. Once it does, root it down. And then from this position, let's take just a small little cat-cow in the pelvis. Sometimes we have a tendency to always be here. Sometimes we have a tendency to always be here. Go one more time, both extremes. We're still pressing down through the heels, still pressing out through the thighs. And now find the pelvis right in the middle. Yeah, can you keep that? Let's actually put the hands to the hips and find a little press this direction, and like a telescope, elongate your torso opposite so the rib cage moves away from the pelvis. Yeah, almost, I know we're still here. Let's take the arms back, and only if you want to, take them forward and out on the diagonal. That'll increase the load. If that's not a great idea, keep them back. Oh, yeah, you're still here. Continue to press into the heels. Use the inhale to grow tall, and the exhale to put the arms down. Nice job. Hula hoop it out. Great, and then go the other direction. Okay, so in a sec, we'll come back down to the knees. If you need the padding, just have it ready. Let's stay at the back of the mat. Find those tap roots again at the front of the heel and press down deep into the earth. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, down we go. You can bend the knees, let the legs relax a little on the way down. Inhale as our half lift. And then exhale, down we go. Walk the hands forward. Let's meet in plank. We won't stay for too long, just for a sec. Once you get there, can you broaden the collarbones? Can you lift the belly and can you lift the inner thighs just a little bit? Yes, gorgeous. Daisy, that's an amazing looking plank you got there. Actually, everybody looking great. Let's set the knees down. That's it. And then we'll go straight into this next one here. So let's bring the knees a little closer than you normally would. They don't have to touch. Can you broaden the collarbones? Can you lift up a little through the belly without tucking the pelvis under? And then from here, let the left knee lift up and out to the side without letting the right hip swing wide. And then we lower but don't touch the floor. Take that a few times. Out to the side and back to our hover. Out to the side and hover. Let's go out to the side and stay. And then if you want to add on, you can lift the right arm, bend the elbow, kind of like a skydiver arm position. Yeah, that's a no-go, don't worry about it. Now the next little set is going to be more challenging for the leg. If you need to keep the knee bent, keep it bent. The arm is up, set it down. Let's kick the left leg out to the side and down like we did before. Just take a second, yep. And now we tone through the belly. Find that little lift, press down through the right shin. And see if you can lift the left leg with it straight. And if that's not going to work, just bend. And then lower and lift, and lower, and lift, and lower, and lift. Stay lifted, swing the leg back. Just heel straight back from the hip, little relief. That's it. And then knee comes down, hips go back, child's pose. Stay here, whatever you want to add in with the hands is fine. Little wiggle in the hips, whatever you want. And then we will take a little break before side two. It's not necessarily a break, just something different. So let's come forward and down again onto the belly. This time, we'll start with the upper body. Let's lengthen the legs though, like we did last time. And then come into this little, it's kind of sphinx, but not exactly. Elbows are a bit ahead of the shoulders, and then just stack the hands. It's kind of a lazy sphinx. Now, we'll bring the elbows a little more narrow. Yeah, good. And then a little further forward too. Great. Let yourself just kind of sink for a second. Yeah, that feels good, just to sink down. And then without moving the arms, try to pull them back towards your feet. Lengthen to lift. That's it. And then we lower a little. Let's do this with breath. Inhale, we lengthen to lift. And exhale, we lower a little. Let's go again. We lengthen to lift. You might automatically feel the tailbone tilting a little down. That's fine if it does. And then one more time, lengthen to lift, stay. Draw back through the legs. If you want to find that little hover again, do. It's barely at all. They're just barely off the floor. If you feel any pinch in the back, don't do it. Let's come on down, rest, fold the hands, rest the forehead down, bend the knees, and then either swishes or circles, whatever you like. We're gonna get ready for our second side. Hopefully I remember it. All right, let's put the legs down. Press back, just a quickie child's pose, just for a sec. Alrighty. And then here we go, finding your all fours position. Let the knees come a little closer together than you normally would have them, but they don't have to touch. That just gives a better center of gravity. Broaden the collarbones, lift through the belly, and then start to lift the right knee out to the side without letting the left hip swing wide. And then let it come down, but don't touch the floor, hover. Do that a few times, nice and slow. Try to minimize any movement elsewhere in the body, in the torso, in the left leg. Yeah. Now, if I had been smart, I would have counted how many we did, but I didn't. So let's stay in the up position, and if you want to add on, you can do the skydiver arm, left arm lifts. That's it. And then we'll put the hand down. Kick the leg out to the side and just set it down for a second. Take a moment. Now, if you know this is going to be too much with the straight leg, you'll do a few more rounds of the bent knee. Can you broaden the collarbones? Can you lift the belly? Can you press down through the left shin as the right leg lifts? It's not going to go high. And then we lower, and we lift, and we lower, and we lift, and we lower, and we lift. Stay. Swing the leg back and up off the floor. Good. And then set the knee down. This time, let's tuck the toes under, go back to child's pose. If that's a no-go, just do regular position in the feet. And if you're good to do this, scooch the knees back a little, push the mat forward a little, and then you can walk the hands back, and some of you might sit on the heels. If that doesn't work on the knees, don't do it. Just stay down. I'm going to fix my hair. Okay. Toe torture, asana. All right. Let's come out. Untuck the toes, give them a little shake. And then when we go to down dog, let's take this one with a wide stance in the feet. So go ahead and just get there. Step the feet about as wide as the mat. And just like we did last downward dog, if you want to add some movement here, go ahead and do for a second. And then we'll repeat some of the actions that we did in our chair pose. So keep your wide stance. Bend the knees a little bit. Try to press the mat forward as you send the hips back and up. Keep the bend in the knees, and at the tops of the thighs widen apart. You'll feel the knees widen, and then counter that in the feet. Hug in with the ankles enough so the weight shifts over the ball of the big toe. And then very slowly start to re-lengthen the legs. Notice if you start to come forward or if the pelvis tucks under. And if that happens, just bend the knees and stay where you are. That's it. And then from here, the heels will likely not touch the floor. But think about from the backs of the knees to the backs of the heels reaching towards the floor. Yes. All right, and then let's re-bend the knees, walk the hands back like we did last time. Stay here, press down at that spot right at the front of the heels. Use that to come up. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, the arms down. Good. Let's bring the feet right underneath you and just take a few more little loops here. Okay. And then go the other direction. Awesome work, you guys. So the next pose we'll do, it'll be lunge, and we'll do it with some specific actions just to focus on here. So let's head to the front of the mat. If you like blocks for your hands, you grab them. If you don't want them, you'll go without. And then let's start with either the feet touching or a little bit of space. It's completely up to you. Yeah. And then we'll do kind of a back and forth between chair and mountain pose. And every time we press up from chair, see if you can press down through the heels to come up so that the work goes to the back of the leg rather than around the knees and the quads. Yeah? So here we are. Let's take hands to prayer. Bend the knees, shift the hips back, and then you'll press down through the front of the heel. Inhale, we go out and up, lift. Exhale, we bend and bring the hips back. Let's do 2 more times. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. We'll stay. Hands to shins. Let's lengthen the legs. Pull the chest forward. And then lower down. We'll step the left leg back here, coming into your lunge. And take a second just to get there. Make sure the front shin is straight up and down. And now on the back leg, can you lift up through the inner thigh? On the front leg, can you press down through the heel? And then also try to push forward through the heel. It's not going to go anywhere. You feel how that fires up the back of the leg? Yeah, they'll pull your blocks back a little so they're right under the shoulders and move the chest forward to take the rounding out of the back. Yeah, great. Now, whatever leg is forward, take the same hand and place it on the outer thigh. And then press leg and hand into each other there. So now we feel the outer hip fire. So exciting. If you're still with me, take the arm that's down and stretch it back. And if that's feeling time, keep the chest moving forward and then take the arm that's back forward so you're out on the diagonal. Yes. Continue on the back leg, inner thigh lifts. On the front leg, heel pushes down and forward, and then hand and thigh press each other. And we're breathing through the whole process. Good. Let's take the hand down. Take the other hand down. Go ahead and release the back knee. And then just take a few times. We can go back and forth. And then this is just kind of a little break. Shift back and take a little side to side. Awesome. And then we'll reset, coming forward again. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Move the blocks if you're on the blocks. And then let's go just plank to downward facing dog. Just a little transition here. Any version of down dog is fine. Any movement you want to add in is fine. Yeah. All right. And then let's head to the front of the mat again. So the feet forward. Little bend in the knees, press into the heels to come up. Inhale, we rise. Exhale. Arms down alongside you. Yeah, so far so good. So we'll do the same pattern on the second side. So find your chair together apart, or if you want to go wide, that's fine too. Let's take hands to prayer, knees bent, shift the hips back. And then on the way up, press down through the front of the heels. Inhale, we grow. Exhale, Utkatasana. Nice job. 2 more times. Press down to rise up. And down. Last time up. And down. Change to the halfway lift. Legs lengthen, chest lengthens forward. Down we come. Step the right leg back. Lunge pose. Take a second just to figure it out. Front shin is straight up and down. If you did this side, do the other side. And then on the back leg, we lift the inner thigh. On the front leg, we press down through the heel and try to push the heel forward, which should fire up the glutes there on the left side. On the front leg, hand, take the hand of the thigh and press. Good, firing up the side. All right, lengthen the torso. And then only if you're doing it, take the free arm and send it straight back without letting the back round. Now the same arm can come forward if that's working for you. And then we'll hold whatever position you're in. The back leg, the inner thigh is lifted. The front leg, the heel's pushing down and forward, and the hand and thigh are finding each other here. Yes. Okay, down comes the hand, down comes the other hand, down comes the back knee. Take a little break, forward and back. Well done. We'll stay back and take a little side to side, just a little tail wag. Yeah, you guys, nice work. Same as before. Let's come forward, lift the back thigh, plank to downward dog. Any version here, any extra movement, choose what you want to do. Yes. And then let's meet standing forward fold. Any way you want to get there. Root down through the heels and use that to come up. Okay. And then the arms come down. Nice job. They're like really awake now, aren't they? Yeah, that's good because we've got one more challenge for them. Let's first just take another hula hoop and let this be really lazy, little bend in the knees. Let there be some extra movement going on in the ankles. Maybe the toes lift and lower, go the other direction. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to show you what we'll do first, and it's not an exact position. It's kind of a made-up thing, but you'll feel these guys some more. So let me show. We'll come up on one leg. It's a balance. And then we'll take the leg to the side, let the torso go to the other side, and then we come around. So the leg goes back, the torso comes forward, arms are doing whatever. And then we'll rewind, coming to the other side, up and down. Yeah, that was practice round. If you want to make it more challenging, lift the lifted leg higher. If you need to do less, go lower. Maybe you're just working on balance for the moment. Totally fine. Totally fine. If you want the extra challenge, you go higher. We ready? Yeah. So if you just did a practice round, do the other leg as your first leg, whatever that is. So just remember what side you're on and we'll alternate. So the standing leg is down, the lifted leg is up. Press the standing foot down, and then as you're ready, out to the side. Arms can do whatever. And then the leg comes back, the torso comes forward. If you want to go a little straighter in the leg, you can. And then we rewind out to the side, back to the center, and down. Hey, hey. Other side. Down goes the new leg, up comes the new leg. Around we go. Nice and slow, nice and slow. Ooh. Whatever the arms want to do is fine. And then we rewind. Yes. And down. Awesome, just wiggle a little bit. Now we'll go again. This time it'll be 2 rounds before we put the foot down, and then 2 rounds on the other side. Yeah? Try not to go fast. Try to go slow. That'll make it also a little more interesting. So here we go on your first side. Up we come. Press the standing foot down, lift up through the core, and then when you're ready, around we go. Oh. And then we rewind. But don't set the foot down because we're gonna go again on the same side. So around we go. Yeah, it's harder the second time because it's tired. And then to the side. Oh. And done. Oh. Everybody okay? All right, we got one more side to do. This is it. This is it. So let's do it. Up we come. Press down. And then around we go. Back to center, but don't touch down if you can. And then one more time. One more time. Oh, those glutes. Yes, indeed. Almost done, almost done. Oh, yogis. Enough. Ah, down comes the leg. Nice job, guys. Just wiggle around a little bit. And then we'll do this as kind of a reset after being on one leg. Take the feet just a bit wider than you normally stand, but not too wide. And go slight internal rotation, just a little bit. Bend the knees, bring the hips back and rest the forearms to the thighs. And then from here, like we did in the other ones, but it'll feel different now that the legs are in this rotation. The tops of the thighs press back and apart. And your feet hug in a little so the weight goes more towards the inner foot. Follow the big toe, inner heel. Think of the inner heel reaching back as the chest lengthens forward. Good. Hopefully this feels good on the back. Yeah, let's reset the feet so the feet are parallel. Press down through the heels. Inhale, we lift. Exhale the arms down. Yay. All right, friends. Let's come down. We'll stretch out those hips. We'll do some of the, we did one already in the beginning, but we'll do it again with a little different focus. So let's come down all the way onto back. Yay, we get to lay down. And let's take just a little windshield wiper again. Yeah, take the feet kind of wide. Just go lazy with the legs. A little butt massage after what we've been doing. That's it. And then from here, let's come back to center. Take the feet so they're not quite so wide. And then cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Sorry, we're doing left side first. Do the left side. And then come in and hold behind the right thigh. And in this position, notice, let's actually do this. Pull the leg more towards you and see how the pelvis lifts a little and the low back flattens. Go the opposite way. So let the leg come a little away from you and try to untuck the pelvis to reclaim your lumbar curve, or at least some idea of that. And then pull the leg in again without tucking the pelvis under, without letting the hips lift. Yeah. Stay there and press both legs a little to the right, not too far, just a little bit. Oh, yeah. And then option to hold still. If you want to take a little rock, you can. If you want to change anything else, you can. Now, option for the next one, and in my body, it doesn't really work, but I'll talk you through it. You'll back off. The left leg is still on top, but it crosses left thigh over the right thigh. The knees come in, the feet pull apart, and you can hold on the knees, the shins, the feet, the ankles. If that doesn't work, come back to the other one. And then for this one, you might do a little cat-cow. You could still do a little side to side if you like. Any kind of movement there is fine. If you're familiar with the pose called Gomukhasana, it's that leg position. Yeah. And then if anybody gets like a pinchy feeling in the front of the hip, that's what happens to me. Just come to the other one instead. All right. Let's undo the legs, whatever you've done. Set the feet on the floor and take the hands to the thighs and just press hands straight ahead into the thighs. You can let the low back lift a little off the floor. And then we'll back off. Let's cross the right one over. Pick up the left one, hold behind, and then just take a second. And let's add in that movement. So try to pull the left leg more towards you and feel how the pelvis lifts up. And then go the other direction. Go one more time each way. And then we're going to pause when the leg goes away from you. See if you can untuck the pelvis and reclaim your lumbar curve. And without flattening the lumbar curve, pull the leg in again, which it'll limit how far you can go. And then press both legs a tiny bit left. Oh, yeah. Do you feel that one? No, they'll press more through your heel, the right heel. And yeah, does that do it? Does it? Oh, it was doing it. It was doing it anyway. All right, so now you get a little bonus. All right, guys, if you're taking the next one, and you don't have to, back off from here, slide the right thigh over the left thigh, bring the knees in, take the feet apart, and hold on anywhere, knees, shins, ankles, feet. You could do a little cat-cow or a little side to side or anything else that suits you. Nice job, friends. All right, let's undo the legs. Take one more time that little thigh press, just pressing hands and the thighs. We'll lift up through the low back. And then if you want another round of windshield wipers, you can add that in. Take the feet a little wider. Let yourself go from side to side. Yeah. You know, from here, more or less, we'll head into Shavasana. If there's anything else that you need to feel complete, like something small, don't do a handstand, but, you know, something small if you need it, go ahead and take it. And then I'm going to turn out some of these lights for Shavasana. And as you start to settle, let's take a little check-in, like we did in the very beginning. Notice what's going on in the body and in the mind and in the breath. If there's anything that's still holding on, anything that you don't need, can you let it go? Bring your attention back to your body. Start to take a little movement in your head. Roll from side to side. Maybe add in some movement in the fingers, toes, anything else, arms and legs. When it feels right, when you're ready, you can bend the knees and roll over to one side. From there, take your time to come upright. We'll meet sitting any way you want to sit. Hands at heart center. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.